It was a chilly Monday morning when Arohi Sharma, a bright-eyed 20-year-old girl from a small town, stepped out of her house with hope in her heart. Clutching a folder of certificates, she boarded the train to London, where she had an interview scheduled at a reputed marketing firm. Arohi had always dreamed big. Her father had passed away when she was 12, and her mother had raised her and her younger brother with dignity despite financial struggles. Arohi had topped her college, and this job interview was supposed to be the beginning of a better life for her family. She arrived at Wexford Corporate Tower, tall, glassy, and intimidating. She breathed deeply, straightened her simple blue kurta, and walked in. At the reception, she introduced herself, and the receptionist guided her to the top floor where the interview was to take place. The cabin of Mr. David Langston, the CEO, was sleek and cold. He was a man in his 40s, dressed in a crisp suit with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "You're here for the assistant marketing role, right?" he asked, eyeing her up and down. "Yes, sir," she replied politely. He asked a few basic questions and seemed impressed by her CV. "You know, Arohi, you have potential. You could grow fast in this company," he said, slowly walking around his desk. "Thank you, sir," she smiled nervously. "But there are certain expectations from someone who works this closely with me," he said, leaning closer. "I prefer my assistants to be open-minded, understanding, especially after office hours." Her heart skipped a beat. She froze. "I don't understand," she stammered. "Oh, come on," he said, chuckling darkly. "Don't pretend. You know how this works. You give me your time, I give you the job. Simple exchange." Her lips trembled. She stood up, shocked. "Sir, I came here for a job, not this." "You'll regret walking away," he said sharply as she grabbed her folder and fled the office with tears in her eyes. She ran outside, the cold wind slapping her face as if punishing her for believing the world was fair. That evening, she didn't speak to anyone. Her mother asked how the interview went, and Arohi just said, "It was okay," and locked herself in her room. She cried for hours. In her diary, she wrote, "I wanted to make you proud, Ma. But the world is darker than I thought. I feel ashamed, dirty, and helpless. I can't breathe under this weight anymore. Please forgive me." The next morning, her body was found hanging from the ceiling fan. The whole neighborhood was in shock. Her mother screamed until her voice cracked. Her brother sat silently in the corner, not understanding how the sister who once gave him her last piece of bread was suddenly gone. The police found the diary and filed a report, but Mr. Langston denied everything. There was no camera in the office. No evidence. Just the word of a dead girl against a powerful man.
But her story didn't die.
Arohi's college friends shared her diary online. The post went viral. Her photo, soft-eyed, bright, and brave, became the face of a nationwide campaign called #JusticeForArohi. Thousands of girls began sharing their own stories. The media finally picked it up. The company was investigated. Langston was forced to resign. More women came forward. He was eventually arrested for similar allegations. But none of it brought Arohi back. At her grave, her mother placed a small placard that read, "You deserved better, my daughter. You were not weak. The world was cruel." And under her name it read, Arohi Sharma, a voice that awakened many. Arohi ran out of the corporate tower with her folder clutched tightly in her arms, her face soaked with silent tears. The streets of London felt colder than ever. The bustling noise of traffic and people moving past her faded into the background. Her heartbeat echoed louder than everything else. She reached the station, sat on a bench, and stared blankly ahead. Her dreams, her efforts, her faith in the world. Everything had shattered in just a few minutes. She looked at the sky and whispered, "Why me? Why now?" By the time she returned home, it was already evening. "Arohi, how did it go?" her mother asked from the kitchen, stirring tea with hope in her voice. "It was fine," Arohi replied, forcing a smile. "I'm just tired." She locked herself in her room and sank to the floor. Her brother knocked once, twice, then gave up when she didn't answer. At midnight, Arohi opened her diary and wrote, "They say every girl has to fight to achieve something. But why do we have to fight monsters in disguise? I didn't go there to sell my soul. I went there to work. But he looked at me like I was nothing but an object. I feel sick. I feel ruined. I can't tell Ma. I can't destroy her heart like mine is destroyed right now. She stared at her ceiling for a long time. Then, in a quiet, trembling voice, she said to herself, I just wanted to be something, not someone's thing. The next morning, the sun rose, but not for her. Her mother knocked and knocked. No answer. The door was forced open. There she was, her body hanging lifeless. Her diary lay on the floor beside her. The aftermath. The news spread like wildfire. Her photo, her story, her words were shared across social media. Her college friends came forward with their grief and anger. A hashtag Justice for Arohi, started trending within hours. People protested outside the Wexford corporate tower. The CEO, David Langston, denied everything. I never touched her, he said coldly in a press conference. But Arohi's story had given courage to others. One by one, more women came forward. Interns, assistants, job seekers, all with similar stories. The truth unfolded. David Langston was arrested. It didn't bring Arohi back, but it brought light to a dark system. 1 year later, a memorial bench now sits at Arohi's favorite lake, where she used to go when life felt heavy. The plaque reads, In memory of Arohi Varma, she came to the city with dreams. The world failed her, but her voice shook it. Her mother still visits the bench every week, and every girl who sits there reads her story and knows she wasn't alone.